Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning, wrapping up a good week we've had on the show, and I appreciate the comments and the viewership we've had. Let's get started with the weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew taking care of everyday comfort needs. High today, 86. Low is going to be 66. And I know we're looking forward to Sunday morning and Monday morning because it's going to be cool those mornings. Our water temperature at the end of the pier, we're looking at 81 degrees. Our river reading brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. The Choctawhatchee, well, let's do the Apalachicola first. Choctawhatchee's on my mind. Apalachicola Bluntstown is still at 3 foot, pretty steady. Going to be a pretty weekend. It's going to be low. 3 foot for the Apalachicola is low. And on the Choctawhatchee, it's still below 1 foot. It's reading a 0.8. So both our rivers are low. We're going to talk about that a little bit. It does. You know, we have some problems sometimes when it gets like that, and it's really a situation that a lot of times the veterans can get in trouble. And I'll give you an example a little bit later. I want to say a special good morning over here in St. Joe to Brenda Wood and Karen Minger from St. Joe Elementary. I want to thank you for welcoming Wendy with such kindness and all at St. Joe Elementary School, and I appreciate y'all watching the show. So thank you, and that kindness goes a long way. Let's take a look at the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today's tide is in good shape. It's high this morning at 204 and low at 206, right at 12 hours. Good strong tides today, tomorrow, and through the weekend. So next week will be some neat times. So go ahead and look at what's going on today. It's good stuff. Fishing game times, let's go ahead and do those. Brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. One time, 11:52 to 1:52. Also want to, I got a lot of good comments on Sheriff Ford being on the show, and I use the term, and thank y'all for that, I use the term for a high sheriff, and I want to explain that to you. Back in the day, it was sort of, I guess, out in the country and all, but the deputies, they didn't have that many deputies, but once they started getting deputies, the people were used to calling them, all of them, any lawman was a sheriff. But then when they started bringing deputies out there, they put the man in charge was the high sheriff and one on top of the totem pole. I mean, so that's where the term high sheriff came from. As a kid, I heard it from some country folks and all, and I always thought it was cool because everybody wanted to be the high sheriff, but they didn't call him deputy this, always sheriff. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And one more thing on the talking about the law yesterday. I mentioned the word the moonshiners back in our day. My family, well, we might have had a distant cousin, but anyway, the revenuers, they really didn't arrest the moonshiners that much. What they would do, they would just shoot and blow out those pots, and just really, they would just shoot them. And when the moonshiner heard the shots down in the swamp, he knew that he'd been busted, so he didn't go back down there. So it was sort of a win-win on both sides. He didn't get arrested, but law enforcement won because they put him out of business. So I always thought that was a unique way to carry out the law. But anyway, let's get started on some outdoor stuff. Got some good pictures here. Here we go. Steve Taylor sent this. I ran into him and told me he's going to take his dad fishing over at a pond. And here's what he sent me that night. If dads take their kids fishing when they are young, one day their sons may get to take them when they are older. That smile does this old boy a lot of good. Dad, Larry Taylor, turned 81 this week, and so we went fishing to celebrate. We didn't catch any big ones, but we had a blast. And here he is, and a happy birthday, Larry Taylor. That is a big smile. Pretty area up there y'all are fishing in. And he did catch some. Pretty fish there. See, he's got his life jacket on, he got his hat on, and sunglasses. That's that experience. That experience teaches a lot of stuff. There you go, Steve with him. All right. Thank you, Steve Taylor, Emerald Coast Fellowship, for sharing this with us and doing so many good things for folks. Okay, FWC put this out. They just had the October meeting, and they are going to, executive order, they're going to close the harvest of gag grouper starting October the 19th. And it's going to be, we sort of anticipated that. it's right down the bottom. It says the gag grouper stock is overfished and experiencing overfishing and significant quota reductions have been. So anyway, it's going to reopen next September 1st, right there center screen, next September 1st, 2024, it will reopen. Okay, how about Braden Harris fishing over on the Choctawhatchee? We've been talking about how low the Choctawhatchee is, and what you can do, you can find them, you go to these holes now, and they got a hole up in them, and Braden is experienced enough to do that, got a Season of Hope shirt on. Also, you notice he's in an aluminum boat, John boat, because you can't get across some of these areas in a regular bass boat. I ran into Mike Miller the other night at a volleyball game, and you know, Mike's got that farm up there just before you get into Youngstown, and these are his watermelons. Okay, you see him busted up. I thought it was deer. He said, no, it's not deer. He's got them on. Folks, the bears have got into every one of his watermelons. It's frustrating. And he was telling me about it. He showed me all kind of bear pictures up there. So I didn't get it. And the peanuts, he's having trouble with them in the peanuts. And so the bears are doing a lot of damage to farmers, the bears and hogs. Okay? And you gotta want to do this sometime this weekend. Just Jason Shingler posted this. Just grill some fish in a basket right there. And he's got a little bit of everything. Okay, that looks good, don't it? Let me. Okay, one more. And I don't usually post something I don't know a lot about, but my buddy Robert Slay had posted this. If you know anything about it, let me know. Annual Donanza, October 21st and 22nd, and it goes on to say the entry fee, and it's up at Chipley at O'Connell Lane, and Wesley Griffin at the bottom. Wesley, if you're watching, or Jason Rudd, y'all let me know about it. I don't know if it's open to public or if it's private or whatever, but it's an interesting concept what y'all are doing right there. So let me know about it. Annual Donanza, okay? And now I do want to mention about the shallow water. I got a call from Wilbur Miller yesterday. He'd gone fishing down on the Apalachicola River, fishing out of Iola. And they caught a good mess of fish, but he just wanted me to pass on to our viewers. He ran aground, folks. He hit a sandbar, which is not that unusual sometimes, but you know, this sandbar was in the middle of the river. The river dropped down so much, and he was born down there. He spent his whole lifetime fishing and having a boat on that river, and it surprised him when he hit it. He wasn't going all that fast, but to be well aware of it when I'm warning you about, you know, low water. I'm not just saying that, but because it can pose a lot of danger. So don't go fast, especially over the Choctawhatchee and on the Apalachicola. The low river can pose a lot of problems. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let me delve a little from my outdoor things and do a little personal thing here. It's Friday Night Lights, and I've always talk about, you know, how, you know, try to find some kind of local game and go to it and support your local team. And Friday Night Lights, it's been almost wholly for me. It's just very special to me. Going back to a kid and as a player, dad, or granddad, and all this is very special. So I was able last Friday night. I want to share this with you. And Mosley High School is in its 50th year. It opened 50 years ago, and I was there when it opened, so I knew I've been there a long time. Of course, I'm retired now, but we brought a committee, picked the top 50 football players out of 50 years, and invited them back last week for homecoming. Oh, and by the way, the game tonight is going to be Bozeman hosting Destin. Both teams are 5-0, and I'll be at Bozeman tonight. Hope to see some of y'all there. It's also homecoming at Bozeman. Going back to what I was talking about, the top 50 football players. I just want to share this with you real quick. I knew every one of these boys, young men, and coached them and all. It was just a wonderful night. I got to reminisce with so many of them. They came all the way from New Mexico, Louisiana, Texas, and come back to just be part of that. The top 50, all 50 couldn't make it. A couple of them had passed away, but here are these two right here. I'll mention John Little and Patrick Miller. Patrick on the right there. John on the left played at Georgia, all SEC. Just a great he was a quarterback here, and Patrick, that was a fine football team then, real quick. Gene McGuire on the left went to Notre Dame, played a couple years in the pros. Charles Hill on the right, he's a doctor now in Park City, Utah. Great young man. And my family was there. Chip made the top 50, and of course you recognize everybody there. We had a glorious time. And here's the two punters that made the top 50. That's Lewis Berry on the right. I said the only guys with beards were the two punters. And Lewis punted for FSU, actually played at FSU when Deion Sanders was playing at Florida State. Those two boys could boom a football. They would put them up, and they could kick off past the end zone. So it's just great seeing everybody. And one more, Brandon Emanuel. Brandon's our quarterback. He played pro baseball, coached in pro baseball. He's living in Freeport now. He was in my very first outdoor education class. He lived, like I said, in Freeport. He and some of his buddies part of our show on a regular basis. So good morning. And of course, always supporting us in the stands, Gail, Wendy, and Jill. So we had a grand time. I want to share that with you because I know we a lot of times get carried away doing personal things. I don't want to bore y'all with it, but that was just a fun time. So if you get a chance to do some Friday Night Lights, go ahead and take care of it. Now this coming on Monday's show, I'm going to have a pretty long video. I can introduce the video. I'm going to tell you what it is. I met up with the Southeastern Dog Hunters Association, 4 or 5 different groups, and Michael and Braden and I drove over there, and we had a grand time, and it's a good video. It's just shocking to me at the amount of trash that has been picked up, that was picked up in a couple of hours last Saturday morning. So, and I just wanted to spend almost the whole show video, and so you could see and how we got to take care of Apalachicola National Forest and all of our other forests, and it just blows my mind how people can be that trashy and all. Okay, I got a couple more pictures. I want to cover that catfish tournament because it was sent to me. Here we go, right here. We're going to. Let me see, real quick, we've got to get through it pretty fast. Big flathead catfish tournament up in Bristol. Everything went well up there. These 3 got lifetime kids free, lifetime free fishing license, those 3 right there. That's always good when you can do something like that. So, okay, and you see some, I don't have the names on these pictures, but you can see the size. In the money right there, got a check right there. Another group of them here, got a little plaque. Well-run tournament. They do. I couldn't make it to the weigh-in, but they did send us some pictures. That's a good landing there in Bristol, too. That's a big one there. Don't know how much it weighed. All right, one's holding the baby and one's holding the catfish. I like that. And that's always a good picture. Okay, so I want to go through the catfish tournament. I wanted to quickly also, surf fishing is really strong right now. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes, but some surf fishing pointers, and I talk about surf fishing every year. So a lot of times I show the video on different tips and all. If some of y'all want to do it, I hope to do it some next week. I'm trying to sort of mark off my calendar after this cold snap. So I got like 10 tips, like I always do, on surf fishing tips. Number 1, go early. And several reasons, because number 1, the fish are biting a lot of times early. Number 2, the beach goers aren't out there, and that's beginning to be a problem. I've talked to different people about people just, that's another show about a lot of people just sort of walking in between you and the pole and everything. So anyway, go early. PVC, use PVC spikes. You can buy those fancy ones if you want to, but do it yourself, make a little PVC. You've seen mine. Number 3, always take extra tackle. You're going to lose some stuff. There's going to be some sharks out there cutting it. Number 4, I talked about I always take 3 rods, one for long casting and one in medium and short. So that's I've always done that, and I'll just pass that on to you. Okay, you want to fish the holes out there. You see a dark spot, fish holes, or fish the cut, and I've shown you diagrams about that. I'm just reminding you of all these. Get a quality rod. I've got some old rods, but they're quality rods. Make sure that it's gonna really have a good flex to it. And practice casting it. Number 8. Try to have a beach cart or something. Put everything in that beach cart, and so you can just stay down there. Don't have to go back to the truck. always have a comfortable chair. You want to sit in a comfortable chair. I'll have plenty of water, have snacks, suntan lotion. And number 10, always have good sunglasses. Those things are just so important. That's just, I got that from, nobody ever told me that. I actually learned. I didn't get on social media and say, what do I need to do? Tell me everything I need to know about it. So you just go out there and try it out yourself. Okay, now let's go get our drawing. Here we'll thank Tarpon Dock Seafood. We're gonna draw for the $10, $20 gift certificate. We had some good food, seafood this past week from Tarpon Dock. From Freeport, Tommy Hamilton. Tommy, a big red snapper, is going to be all the way from Southport, Brent Starling, Freeport, and Southport. Yeah, interesting enough, those names come from being actual port, and it's interesting. Ironic that Freeport, of course, has got a big boatyard up there in Southport, where the railroads came down from Shipley and nipped it there, and the boats met them right there. Just interesting trivia. All right, we're going to take a final break, come back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, welcome back and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast. It's a special day today because we have two sponsors that's going to help sponsor the famous Friday fishing forecast. And I know these folks, and I just want to thank them for coming on board and being part of our Panhandle Outdoors team, where it's going to be brought to us by Jessica Ling Insurance and Financial Group and Matt Andrews of Hammer Down Roofing. Ironically, both of those are some of my former students. They're good folks, and we're going to talk more about them, and we're going to have them come on the show and share some of the things they do. But we're glad you're part of the Panhandle Outdoors team, and it's just a delight to me. Now let's move on with the forecast. Ironically, I was talking earlier about the rivers being low. Before we get to rivers, we got to understand all these freshwater ponds. You saw the picture from these private ponds. They're low also. So what that does, it concentrates the fish in a deeper part. They're getting out of those shallow flats. So it's really, when things are low during droughts, it's really some good time to go fishing. So keep that in mind. One of the things we always like to do is try to get up there early in the afternoon and fish late, or either get there at daybreak. So the fish are going to be concentrated. That's the word I want to get to you on the freshwater ponds and our lakes in different places. Real quick, on the bay fishing, and I'm thinking about flounder gigging. The water's clear. I've looked out of my house on the end of my dock. The water is just really clear. Again, the benefit of a drought and not having a lot of mud flow and all. So, and we only got this weekend, next weekend left in flounder gigging season. Have not heard a lot of reports. I don't know if that many people are going. I haven't seen that many people out up in my area, and I haven't talked to a couple of them, so I haven't seen that many gigs. So I don't know what the problem is. They're undergoing, they're really headed out now. Also, the cast netting for the mullet. The mullet, they were jumping the other day. I was a little surprised. They look. I got tickled. I told Gail, they're malnourished. They need to eat. They really look skinny to me. But anyway, they were out there. Okay, let's move on. Choctaw River. Okay, we'll talk about Choctaw River. It's still low, folks. It's going to be. Okay, here we go. Here, it's going to be low, but going into the bay system, all up in this area. It's going to be good. The river really is on fire. I don't want to point out any particular place. Choctaw River is on fire. I've seen some really good. I haven't posted all of the pictures I've gotten from there, but it is on fire. Let's move on down to West Bay. The creeks, Crooked Creek and Burnt Mill Creek, they're both low, and there's not that many fish up in them right now. There will be later. Okay, West Bay Point is going to be looking good. If you want to go flounder gigging, that's going to be a good place to go, right there in the center of the screen. Always some good flounder there. Mullet casting right there at the bridge, coming down here to the state park. Man, are we blessed to have a state park right here. Right here, Deepwater Point. I haven't mentioned Deepwater Point in a while. Deepwater Point is going to be really good. Folks, you can flounder fish. Go to the state park and you can go flounder fishing right there, okay? Now, move on quickly down. Tommy Ford was talking about East Bay, how much he likes to fish over here in East Bay. Excellent. Sandy Creek area is going to be good. up here, Farmdale. This whole area is going to be good, really good. Crooked Island, and then go here to St. Joe Bay real quick. I haven't gotten a report this week from St. Joe Bay, but from years previous, I can promise you the trout bite has been really good. Again, I point this out almost every Friday down in this area right here, over here on Town Beach, and back here toward Eagle Harbor, and up here toward Pompano Point. Okay, that should all be good. The Spanish mackerel are running. The surf fishing I talked about earlier. Let's move it now quickly to St. George Island. We did talk to Carabel. Okay, Apalachicola. Let's stop at Apalachicola. Folks, the triple tail bite has been really good. Some really good triple tail reports. The bridge fishing over here in East Point should be really good. We're going to have cold weather coming in Sunday morning. So Saturday, tomorrow, will be some fine fishing. Carabel is going to be good back behind Dog Island and the Carabel River. In general, I did want to say, I didn't point out the surf fishing spots because I'll do that maybe on the show next week, my top 5 or top 10 surf fishing spots. But keep in mind, if you can go to a state park anytime and get there early, the problem with getting there early, a lot of times the state parks now are not open until 8 o'clock. And that makes it really difficult to get out there. So just get there as soon as you can. Also, when you catch I'm gonna run out of time. Have all kind of other stuff written too. Get back to the rivers. I can't emphasize that enough. They are shallow this time of year. When somebody like Wilbur Miller runs the ground on a sandbar, it could be trouble. So don't go there and go too fast. But if you're gonna do some river fishing, you get up in those sloughs. Those sloughs are gonna be shallow. There's gonna be a lot of snakes out. There'll be a lot of snakes out. And if you get up to the woods walking, there'll be a lot of rattlesnakes. But the water moccasin is going to be moving around this time of year, and it's always that time of year. And I've seen some of the biggest one in a drought because what happened at the drought, they're sort of concentrating in an area, and especially down there around Howard Creek and Saws Creek. There's some big, fat water moccasins. So be aware of that. Got to start wrapping it up. We've had a good week. Got another great week coming up. Next week, some videos, special guests coming in. So we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And I want you to ask you to take care of our sponsors, and we appreciate your viewership. And do something good today for someone else. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.